AYF. They work with high-risk youth. They also work with both boys and girls. And so part of what we do is we try to show that there's a need for educational programming and show that they matter. It's not just the adults. Of course, a lot of times they might get lost a little bit. So part of our meeting was to show that they're humans too, and just like adults, just like you, they deserve an opportunity for education. So this is my mom and dad. My dad passed away in 2019, rest in peace. His name is Sioeli, and he's from Pongo, the capital of Samoa. And then my mother, who's 82 years young, still here. I'm blessed for that. Her name is Michael Laupati, and she is from Mua. It's one of the biggest islands in Samoa. And so I learned a lot of lessons the hard way. Wasn't really the one that was, really listened a lot. So it's kind of a rebel. But eventually, I came about and was able to complete a journey. Took the scenic route though. Going over here. So, and Samoa is the way the Samoans do things. It's a way of life. It's about culture. It's about religion, and it's about education. And so, as I was growing up, I had a lot of fallouts. Had a fallout with my father. I was in the streets, and during that time in the streets, a lot of it I found out was due from just disconnecting from my culture. When I was like 6 or 7, 8 years old, my mom stopped calling me by my Samoan name and started calling me by my middle name, Joe. But of course, when you're little, you don't understand why. But some of the things that happened was I noticed that other kids that I would play with, and generally your first friends or your cousins, they, started to kind of distance themselves slowly from me. And that was one of the reasons why. I didn't understand why they were doing it that way, but my mom was doing it, and my dad was doing it so that I would, grow up to have opportunities at jobs. When people, talk about Samoans, first thing that comes to head is they're big people. They can be cool, but they can also be, look dangerous. You know what I mean? And so, part of the stigma is Samoan name, probably not being hireable, probably will struggle with educational opportunities. And so, even though my mom and dad were doing good for me, it really, I didn't see it in the youth. And so I got caught with stigmas. Maybe some of you can understand this, but I was told, oh, you're not Samoan enough. Mm-hmm. You don't speak the language. Mm-hmm. Understood it, but it was, it's kind of like I spoke enough to get by. And so that built up a lot of, internalized racism, racial trauma, and a lot of marginalization. And so